Okay, so now I want to try and do these antennae here. I'm just going to solo the antennae. And I'm looking at a reference, and I kind of see that they kind of taper up, and there's a hard edge. It's kind of soft as it blends in. So I could kind of sculpt this with maybe get the damn standard out and do that, but I think this might be kind of fun. So I've got the standard brush on. I'm going to hold down control, and when I do, I can change from, what is it? I think you start off with a mask pen. Okay, so when you hold down control, you can paint it in. But if you hold down control and you switch it, I'm going to use the lasso, and that way I can do a little lasso around these spots where I want to sculpt inwards. And I'm just staring at the reference, and I'll do something like this and try and space these out. I'm going to try to go relatively quickly because there's people watching me. I'm going to do that one, it's too close. Okay, and of course, okay, do something like this, and I'm using the mouse when I'm doing this too because I got a microphone on my Wacom. It sounds kind of funny. And so I got this done, this, almost there. Okay, great. So I wanted them to break up, something like that. I could spend a bit of time and make this really super accurate, but I'm good. So we got that. And then if I go down here, there's a whole little masking section right here. Whoop, open it up. You can invert it. You can hold down control and just click, and that does the same thing. There's a bunch of little hotkey shortcuts there. I can also do things like sharpen the mask, and I can blur it. You can also blur just by going in and holding down control and tapping on the masked area, and that gives you a blur as well. So I can go blur, blur, blur. It's faster, just go click a bunch of times here. Now there's a sharp edge. So what I was looking for is, let's see, if I go and I stare at this, I gotta figure out where my sharp edges are. This one? Okay, so if I hold down control and I do the lasso over it again, I can get a sharp edge out of that. Okay, great. And as I'm coming down here, I think I want a sharp edge on this side. Okay. Try and do these fast. Maybe get a bit of a better edge there. And then I kind of got these nice blended ones on the other side. Okay, and just gotta remember who I am, where I am. Okay, make sure I should be checking the other side too, but I'm hoping this will work. Hoping. There. And but this is giving me a nice, you can see this line is harder than this, and this is kind of soft. I could probably go ahead and smooth that out too, but good enough. Okay, so what the hell am I going to do? Now I'm going to go to the deformation drop-down menu, and there's an inflate here. So if you inflate, it goes that way. That's not what I want. If I go the other way, it'll deflate, and I get a little, oh yeah, like that. Very nice and soft. And you can even do more things, like what if I switch to, I've got this all masked right now, right? So what if I go and I switch to my BMB? I grab my move brush, and these things, I'm just going to kind of get a good angle here, and I can push it up in, so I create a bit of overlap. Okay, and I might have to use maybe the inflate brush in a second. Let's just go and do this, and I'll try and be quick because I'm doing this. And maybe I should make this smaller, not too small. I might have to go at this from a few different angles, but this can save you a bunch of time. I could have modeled this too back in Maya, but again, that could take a bit of time. And you can see some of those work better than others. I could go in here with the damn standard and start to tweak some of these up. And what else do we have? What about the inflate brush? Some of these here, if I get in close, they don't quite, the edge of like a little bit like it's overlapping, but I don't really see it, right? So I'll do something like this. And then if I go to the inflate brush, V-I-N, and let's make sure, I notice that by default it's pretty intense, so let's just dial that intensity down a bit, and I can just kind of do a few strokes around here. Have a stroke, man. There. And I could use the move brush, move that around, but just by inflating these areas now, that gives me something nice, and I did this effect relatively quickly. Looks like I need to move some of these up a bit further as I inflate them. They're kind of losing the idea. Let's make this smaller. Okay, and yeah, and also I gotta smooth that puppy out. There's something weird going on there. But let's deselect, and there you go. So now I got some antennae, and maybe, what time is it? 5 minutes. Okay, so let's go and try and do maybe one more thing. I do believe I have the UVs laid out on this thing. I'll just double check. If I go in here, oh, I don't want to do, oh, damn, you idiot. Last time you did that, you crashed. Here, and, whoop. No, I did that while I was still in high poly mode. That's kind of silly. Don't do it when you're in high poly. You'll start to cry. And I'll just... Actually, it's a bit thicker. Just hold on a second. So I'm just going to inflate this puppy right here. I do have symmetry on. Okay, great. And I'll just make my brush a bit bigger. Yeah, like that. Okay. And then maybe B, C, B. I could easily spend a lot more time sitting here playing with this and making it look tasty. Like a Thanksgiving dinner for newts. Salamanders. Looking for murder wasp. Murder wasp soup. Okay, and I'll just pretend that's okay. And remember, too, just going down a few subdivisions so you can smooth things out if you made something too abrupt. Okay, great. And let's go back up. So, UV map, good. And we're going to go up here, and I'll take a look in... Where's the next place I'm going? I'm just going to... I've seen my UVs. I was just going to check and see what my poly count is. Usually up here you can see your poly count. You can also just hesitate over here. And I can see I've got 700,000, so maybe I'll just go and Control D, put one more in, because I want to get a little bit more high frequency detail on these. And if I go to surface, noise, and what do I see for noise? Got a basic noise scale. I could bring this down. And again, I might go in here and decide to put on the UVs as I'm doing this. And in the noise plugin, I think I like the erosion a little bit. I might find some other one that I like in here too. Now I put that on, you can hardly tell what's going on. So if I take the mix basic noise and I dial it off, you can see it's doing something, but it's really, really big. So I'm just going to go something like this, break it up a little bit. Maybe we'll take the noise and go the other way. Okay, maybe that's too much. Maybe, you never know. Have to play for a little while. And also I'm going to bring that other noise into this so I don't get any completely flat areas from this. And let's bring this. Okay, so usually I'll bring it up a little bit more than I need. And I'll say that's good. Something kind of nice like that breaks it up. Okay, so when I have specularity and rendering it, it'll look nice. Or nicer. Spend a bit more time playing with all these things. I'll just put a layer on now, just before I go in here and apply the mesh. And smooth UVs recalculate. I was thinking. Okay, and it looks like I got it. And so it's on. You can see it bouncing around the little silhouette there. Okay, great. And then I can decide, do I want it pumped up? No, I don't need that. That's too much. Let's go back to 1. Maybe we can drop it down a little bit. Just so there's some kind of breakup on the surface. Again, if you take a look at this, you can see this is kind of broken up, and I could have made it smaller too, but I'm making it kind of big and obvious. And then the last thing I need to do, go down to the lowest. Oh, nope, I forgot. I was just going to go here to layers, and I'm just going to bake it on. After I'm happy and I know it, I'll bake it on. And I'll hit create disk map, and I can't do it in the highest subdivision level, so I'm just hitting Shift EDD, going down to the lowest subdivision level, creating a displacement map. Okay, there it is. And I can export, and this is going out as my MA file, and it's going into my source images. Save. Go back over here to Maya. Whoop. And if I go to File, Import Selection, and Mandibles. Nope, I don't want the mandibles. What am I thinking about? It's in the Scenes folder. Import this in from here. Switch over to my ASCII file. And there's the antenna. And if I go down here, anything else I got to remember? What am I doing? Exporting selection from here. I'm importing. Fool! File. Import. And obj, ASCII file, and then if I go down to the bottom, merge into selected namespace and rename incoming objects that match. Great. There they are. Okay, and now I got ZBrush finger. So I start trying to navigate around, and then we'll just check, did it render fine? So if I go in here and hit it with a V-Ray, show V-Ray frame buffer, render. There we go. So we got some antennas. They might seem a little bit intense. Remember, sometimes when you're in here, and I got a blend on, I'll just break off that texture for now. If I zip over here, you can see the blend is really exceptionally shiny, and I just got to find the shader group. There's my V-Ray displacement map. And it looks like I've got that color management off again. Windows, Settings, Preferences, Preferences. This annoys me. I don't know why it keeps disabling. I did crash earlier, I thought, maybe, or I didn't save it. And then I go back here to the shader group, displacement map, boom. And then if you go into the color balance area, then you can adjust this if it's too much or too little. And sometimes I'll move the decimal point over, so maybe I'll 0, and then when I take this one, I put an extra 0 here, whoop, there. And it was good the way it was. But sometimes I find I move the decimal point around, I get a slightly different result. And also, maybe one more thing I'll mention is that by default it always comes in as a blend, and you probably don't want to use that. You can use them, they're okay, but go in here and what have I got? There's my V-Ray material. You can just quickly go in and V-Ray material, switch it, bloop, and there it is, it's updated, so you can do whatever you want now with your V-Ray material. And I'm going to stop this here.